It's September 29th, 2025, and time for your Monday market update. Thanks so much for watching. Let's take a quick look at our Montgomery County numbers for the last 7 days before we dive into our real estate market. We had 153 new listings hit the market. We had 126 under contract, 109 closed sales, 50 price changes, 4 expireds, and 26 currently on the private network. Now, we did have rates tick back up last week after 3 straight weeks of declines. That can sometimes happen after the federal government cuts the rates because of speculation that inflation will go up again. And mortgage rates follow the 10-year Treasury, which has more to do with inflation and economic speculation more than it actually has to do with the federal funds rate. Now, the feds are expected to do 2 more cuts this year. However, that is yet to be decided as we watch unemployment numbers and inflation numbers as they continue throughout the year. Now, there is still quite a bit of speculation that we will go under 6% into the 5s in 2026, but there are a lot of wild cards out there, one of which is the federal government shutdown on Wednesday. So if the feds cannot agree, if the Senate cannot agree on the new budget, then we will see the government shut down on Wednesday. That's a giant question mark. Now, we've seen this happen a number of times before, and that can really affect our economy as well. So if that happens, that throws a whole wrench into everything that we're seeing right now. Now, we are also seeing cancellations actually at the highest rate in July that they have ever been. So the July, now we've talked before about interest rates, about cancellations being in 16%. Now, that's depending on the time of year. The highest rate for cancellations that we've ever seen in July happened this year at 15.3%. Previous years in July, again, we're only talking about the month of July, we saw 14.5 in last year, 14.5 the year before, 14.3 the year before that, 11.6, 12%. So we're typically seeing them lower. So July to have 15.3% is the highest we've ever seen by one whole percentage point. So why are buyers canceling? A couple reasons. One is we've got picky buyers with more availability of homes, so there is more inventory to choose from. So we've got picky buyers that are deciding, oh, I don't want this house, I want this other one that just hit the market. We've got some issues with buyers having to sell their existing home before they can buy the next one. And as inventory increases and prices start to come down, we're seeing that to be a little bit more difficult for people. We've got the rising costs of homeownership. So insurance rates have gone up significantly in the whole country, not just in Florida and Texas, but the entire country is seeing higher insurance rates. We've also got issues with, some of you may not be aware that January 1st, most insurance companies will no longer insure cedar shake roofs. So if you are buying a home with a cedar shake roof or you own a home with a cedar shake roof, be aware that that will be a hurdle when you go to sell your home. There are only 2 companies left that will actually write insurance policies on a cedar shake roof. That is Chubb and Allstate. And there are virtually, I am unaware of any other insurance companies that will write a policy on cedar shake roofs. So that is a huge issue around here where we do see those roofs in some of the nicer areas and some of the nicer homes. So be aware of that. So changing insurance policies. Also, utilities have gone up. Here in the Midwest, we saw ComEd with a 40% increase in their costs. So it's just becoming more and more expensive to own a home. And unemployment is a big concern. You know, if the government shuts down on Wednesday, which is a looming question mark, that will greatly affect people's ability to buy a home. So we've got the market cooling slightly, not drastically, but we are seeing factors that are affecting our market, like inventory increasing, more and more sellers coming to market, which is a good thing. We need people to move, but that is creating more competition, longer market times. We are seeing more price reductions. So we need to watch some certain things. It is hyper local. So we've got some markets that are still selling very rapidly, and we've got others that are sitting. So you need to watch. Some things to watch are if mortgage rates rise further, demand could decrease and pull back sharply. So if mortgage rates continue to go up, like they have this last week, they were going down for 3 weeks and now they're going back up, but they're still about 6.35, so lower than we were seeing in the earlier part of this year. But if those continue to go up, then we will see demand pull back. If inventory does continue to increase, that could create more downward pressure with prices. Differences between neighborhoods will become more important. So schools, communities, amenities will be magnified. So prime locations will outperform other ones. Because of mixed metrics, keep an eye on your specific targeted area. So if you are looking for a home in Algonquin, Huntley, Lake in the Hills, Crystal Lake, specific neighborhoods in Crystal Lake, make sure that you are talking to a real estate professional to keep an eye on that specific neighborhood, because it's going to change drastically per neighborhood in this kind of a market. So we need to keep an eye on a lot of different factors. Next week, we will get our numbers from September reading. So next week will be our first market update of October. We'll get our September numbers and we'll be able to take a closer look at some of those trends. So thanks so much for watching. Have a great rest of your week.